Life feels like a constant series of near misses, doesn't it? You're driving along, and someone cuts you off, and for a split second, your heart is in your throat. Or the doctor calls with test results, and for a moment, you can't breathe. We live in a state of low-grade panic, always bracing for the next thing. We're like a car with a faulty alarm system, going off at every little bump in the road. It's exhausting. But what if I told you that God has given us a kind of spiritual emergency brake, a way to find calm in the middle of the chaos? Over the next few minutes, we're going to look at a familiar psalm and see if we can't dust it off and find the simple, profound truth it offers for our frantic lives. You'll leave here with a practical way to stop the panic and find a quiet center right where you are. The psalmist writes in Psalm 46, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." Now, that word refuge in Hebrew, maseh, it means a place of shelter, a place you run to for safety. And strength is the power to endure. But the key is the phrase, ever-present help. The Hebrew is even more immediate. Imatz, ezer, besarah, which means a help found very present. He's not a distant God we have to call on. He's already here, in the midst of the trouble. So, how do we use this emergency brake? The next time you feel that wave of panic rising, I want you to do something simple. Stop, take a breath, and say this out loud. God is my refuge. God is my strength. God is here. That's it. You're not trying to fix the problem. You're not trying to muster up your own strength. You're simply reminding your own heart of what is true. You're pulling the emergency brake of faith. And there's more. The psalm goes on to say, "Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea." This isn't just a promise of inner peace, it's a promise of unshakable stability. The ancient world, they believed that the mountains were the most stable things in the world. So, the psalmist is saying, even if the most stable things you can imagine start to crumble, you don't have to be afraid. Why? Because your security isn't in the mountains, it's in the God who made the mountains. This gives us a second tool. When you feel like the ground is shaking under your feet, I want you to find something in nature, a tree, a rock, a river, and just look at it for a minute. Consider its strength, its stability, and then remember that the God who made that is your refuge. Let the created world point you back to the Creator. Let the stability of a mountain remind you of the unshakable presence of God. We live in a world that is addicted to panic, but we are called to be people of peace. Not a peace that comes from having no problems, but a peace that comes from knowing the one who is with us in our problems. When you learn to live from this place of quiet trust, you become a non-anxious presence in a very anxious world. You become a refuge for others. And that, my friends, is a beautiful way to live. Subscribe, and let's learn to live this way together.